Forget Venice. There's a much larger city descending into the earth far faster than the famed Italian lagoon. Meet Jakarta, Indonesia's sprawling, vibrant, chaotic capital and home to more than 11 million residents. It's Southeast Asia's largest city, a cultural, political, and economic powerhouse perched precariously on the brink of catastrophe. This isn't just about rising tides or seasonal flooding. Jakarta is literally sinking. Some parts of the city are subsiding at a staggering rate of up to 26 centimeters a year. By comparison, Venice, long symbolic of the struggle against the sea, is descending by just 1 to 2 millimeters annually. Already, an estimated 40% of Jakarta sits below sea level, and if current trends continue, large parts of the city could be submerged by 2050. So what went wrong, and what's being done to save or escape this metropolis? A city built to flood. Jakarta's vulnerability to flooding isn't exactly a new issue. The city lies on a low, flat coastal plain at the mouth of 13 rivers, with the Ciliwung River being the most significant. The terrain is naturally marshy, and during the wet monsoon season, regularly inundated by torrential rain. These geographic realities have made the area prone to flooding throughout history. In the early 1600s, Dutch colonists established Batavia, modern-day Jakarta, and sought to transform the tropical delta into something resembling their homeland. They built canals throughout the city, mirroring those in Amsterdam, for both transport and water management. But while those Dutch canals still exist today, they were never meant to support a modern megacity of more than 11 million people. Explosive growth without a blueprint. Following Indonesian independence in 1945, Jakarta's population exploded. Waves of internal migration brought millions from rural areas into the city in search of opportunity. But this rapid expansion happened without a comprehensive urban plan. Informal settlements sprang up along riverbanks, squeezing natural waterways and pushing floodwater into ever narrower channels. These informal areas, known locally as kampungs, also led to massive environmental degradation. Natural floodplains and green spaces were swallowed up by concrete, poor waste management clogged drains and rivers, and essential urban infrastructure lagged far behind population growth. But the most catastrophic factor? Groundwater extraction. Why Jakarta is sinking. Jakarta's rapid descent is mainly due to the over-extraction of groundwater, with piped water systems failing to reach large swaths of the population, especially in impoverished areas. Residents and businesses have resorted to drilling wells and pumping groundwater from underground aquifers. This extraction, repeated over decades, has caused the land above to collapse, a process known as subsidence. What makes matters worse is that much of the city's population depends on this method just to access basic drinking water. In poorer kampungs, running water is often only available through communal hydrants. Due to a counterintuitive pricing structure, water companies actually make more money supplying these hydrants than installing individual home connections, creating a financial disincentive to improve access. The result? Illegal wells are rampant. A few years ago, authorities uncovered more than 10,000 unauthorized wells across Jakarta, and the number has only grown since. Despite government efforts to regulate groundwater extraction and raise public awareness, enforcement remains lax, especially in lower income areas with few alternatives. Can the aquifers be refilled? Logically, many have proposed that Jakarta should replenish its aquifers and enforce water extraction laws more strictly. Yet the city's economic structure complicates things. Because of how water pricing works, water utilities have little motivation to expand piped water access in low-income neighborhoods. This has left many residents in a vicious cycle. No affordable access to piped water means reliance on wells, which in turn exacerbates subsidence, which then worsens flooding. Some have suggested constructing infiltration wells to help rainwater seep back into the aquifers, or restoring lost green spaces and floodplains, like the sponge cities seen in China, which use nature-based solutions to manage floods. But these sustainable ideas have taken a back seat to a much grander and more controversial plan: the Mega Wall. Indonesia's government has committed to a colossal $40 billion project to protect Jakarta from the sea, a 32-kilometer-long seawall along Jakarta Bay. The design includes 17 artificial islands and a massive barrier shaped like the Garuda, the mythical bird that serves as a national symbol. The futuristic wall is designed to block sea level rise and tidal surges, and ultimately transform the bay into a vast reservoir. Planned in stages, the wall's first phase focuses on reinforcing existing existing coastal defenses. By 2030, these will be expanded into the full-scale outer seawall. By 2050, if everything stays on schedule, the bay will be fully enclosed, forming a freshwater reservoir that could help alleviate Jakarta's dependence on groundwater. To control water inflow, the wall will also integrate floodgates to manage Jakarta's 13 rivers. The design borrows heavily from Dutch expertise, appropriate given the Netherlands' centuries of experience with land reclamation. The firm behind the design hails from Rotterdam, and the concept echoes the famous Afsluitdijk, a 32-kilometer Dutch dam completed in 1932 to protect the Netherlands from the sea. A double-edged solution. While the engineering behind Jakarta's seawall is undeniably impressive, critics have raised numerous red flags. Environmentalists warn that the wall could trap polluted river water inside the bay, creating a stagnant, toxic lagoon. Marine ecosystems could be thrown into chaos, coastal currents disrupted, and nearby islands eroded by redirected wave patterns. Even more concerning, entire fishing communities and coastal villages are being displaced to make room for the project, often with little to no compensation or relocation planning. This only deepens Jakarta's socioeconomic divide, pushing vulnerable communities further to the margins. Beyond ethical and environmental concerns, there's skepticism about whether the wall will truly solve Jakarta's core problem. The seawall may fend off rising tides, but it doesn't stop the land beneath the city from sinking, meaning groundwater extraction must still be addressed for the project to be truly effective. A new capital in the jungle. Perhaps as a sign of just how dire things have become, Indonesia is also choosing to move its capital altogether. The government has begun constructing a new city named Nusantara, located deep within the forested hills of East Kalimantan on the island of Borneo. Nusantara isn't just a fresh start, it's a bold leap, inspired by other purpose-built capitals like Brasilia in Brazil and Canberra in Australia. Nusantara is envisioned as a smart, green, tech-savvy city powered by renewable energy and covered in parks and green belts. The cost, an estimated $35 billion. Completion is scheduled for 2045 to coincide with the nation's 100th anniversary of independence. Construction began in 2022 with 5 development phases planned. Already, major highways and a Garuda-shaped presidential palace are rising from the jungle. Complications in paradise. Despite the vision of a utopian future city, Nusantara has sparked its own controversies. The development is intruding on protected forests and habitats for endangered species like orangutans. Local indigenous groups, including the Baloch people, have been displaced, raising concerns about cultural erasure and the loss of ancestral lands. Investor confidence has also wavered. SoftBank, one of the project's early international backers, has since pulled out, leaving the financial burden to fall more heavily on state funds. And while government buildings like the presidential palace are nearing completion, many key infrastructure elements, like the airport and transportation systems, are far behind schedule. A modern parable. Jakarta's plight reads like a cautionary tale from ancient myth. From Atlantis to the Epic of Gilgamesh, tales of sinking cities have long served as moral lessons about pride, short-sightedness, and the price of ignoring nature. But Jakarta's story is all too real. The twin mega projects, a $40 billion seawall and a $35 billion jungle capital, are testaments to both human ingenuity and the sheer scale of the problem. Yet, one must ask, are these extravagant solutions tackling the root of the issue? Because maybe, just maybe, the answer doesn't lie in monumental walls or glittering new cities, but in something simpler and more humane, ensuring every citizen has access to clean, piped water. After all, no amount of concrete or symbolism can save a city still digging its own grave. If you found Jakarta's story as jaw-dropping as we did, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories from around the world. Got thoughts on whether Jakarta should be saved or left behind? Drop a comment below. We love hearing your takes.